Yay! Welcome back. Yeah, we still did it. Nothing like the emergency reboot right at 7:30. Like, wait, nothing's working. It was working half an hour ago.
Love it. At
Yeah.
least I feel your pain, Sean. That's like usually it's me, you know. Usually it's something on my end.
Uh,
It sucks.
it was, yeah.
So
It was just like, wait, what? Wait, what?
I
No,
swear
no,
this
no,
was
no,
working.
no.
It was totally working.
Yeah.
So episode 4,
Hey,
week
episode
4.
4.
What do we got? What do we got going on? You were
Well,
busy.
I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with a caveat because usually my show notes are fairly detailed. Today's are much less detailed. So if you're listening to this and it kind of seems like the play that we saw in the rain game in the home opener. Okay, everything's kind of sanded smooth. It's just because
Very
I
disjointed,
scrambled.
all over the
Yeah, I was like,
place.
whoa, the I last night I wrote the player ratings thing, and it took me longer than I planned for it to, and so I got done like 1:30, and I was like, good to go. Like I work tomorrow, but no big deal. And then as I was getting ready for work today, I was like, oh, I never wrote the show notes.
No
Um,
worries.
and I thought, well, it's Wednesday. It's not going to be any big deal. I'll have, a little time to kind of pick things out of my phone. No, no, I did not. The people of Brand Blank were all about their pizzas today. So yeah, this is kind of seat of the pants
And you
deal.
delivered.
So
So
how you
I'm
doing?
good. Yeah, just got, upset stomach puppy who's got the
Mm,
the shit ass. So
mm,
yeah, that's been fun since the weekend. But
that's
yeah,
delightful.
puppy stuff, right? Like that's part of the
Yeah,
drill. Um,
explosive puppies.
but she's still good, still full of energy.
Right.
She's lost all of her puppy teeth, and so she's just got this
Oh.
like pearly white giant toothed tiny mouth, and she just looks really goofy. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's really that's been fun. And then working. We were talking
Yeah.
today. Just mice. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
I work in a family pest control business of my family, and
He's an
I kill
exterminator.
things for money. Um, and
Exterminator.
so we'll get to how I feel
Sorry.
about Memphis and their sponsorship, their fucking gigantic capitalist put all the small family business pest control companies out of business
Oh
sponsorship.
dear.
So yeah, we'll get to that later in the episode when we
Okay.
talk about
This is
Memphis.
not an angle I had
No, you
anticipated,
weren't ready.
to be
You weren't
honest.
ready for the
I was not
shade
ready.
that I'm about to have
Yeah.
for big corporation pest control
Yeah.
companies.
Speaking of pets, I think Sophie wants to say hi to everybody.
The
She's
cat tax.
if you can make her out, her tail is in front of my face. This is how she gets, you know, demands attention. So
She's
yeah,
basically a contributor to
she is at this
DCSR at
point.
this point.
She is at this point. She's been on every episode, I think.
So yeah,
Um,
I think she has actually.
yeah,
So
she like I don't go like 20 minutes without her, going, "Hey, why are you petting me?" Like when I'm writing, it's really a problem. Like she will literally climb over my arms and like walk on the keyboard, like,
she's just checking your work.
I'm like,
She's
"Honey,
just checking your
honey."
work. You know,
Yeah, she's very
the,
thorough. She's
the
demanding.
editor. So we'll get to Memphis and Fail Caesar Week in the second part of this
Yep.
episode after we bring Jam Jam
Yes.
on.
Yes.
We're gonna talk Pittsburgh
Right now.
right now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk Schittsburg. Oh, we're gonna do that. Are we gonna skip the USL stuff?
I mean, I don't know. Do
The whip around?
people want us to go over USL stuff? Like, I mean,
I don't really
we
know.
can briefly like. I think last week we went like through every game, right? We did everything.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about every. Well, like we talked about, yeah. It was like we're just clear. We're not really used to a league this size,
Yeah.
and I realized about halfway through it, it was like, this is a lot of fucking teams, man. Like, oh wow, this is taking five ever.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
spent a good 25 minutes on
Yeah.
like
Okay.
just
Well, I'm
USL
looking at like
scores.
last week's. I'm looking at last week's scores. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches on Wednesday, and then 9 matches on Saturday, and 3 on Sunday. So there's 17 matches this
This
week.
ain't
Like just
Nisa,
reading the
folks.
scores would take a while.
This ain't Nisa.
Right. Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
we got
So match day 3: New York Red Bull 0, Louisville City 2, Atlanta 2-0, Tampa Bay Rowdies
expected
3,
result.
Tulsa 1, San Diego Loyal
That was
0,
good for
El
Tulsa.
Paso 4, Las Vegas Lights 5.
A real
That was the
slobber
Danny
knocker.
Trejo game.
Yeah, that was the Danny Trejo
Yeah, yeah.
special. Great game.
Yeah.
Definitely go back and watch it on mute because the crowd noise is awful, but really wacky game.
Yeah, it's bad.
Next one.
Yeah. LA Los Dos 1. What are they fucking called? Rio Grande Valley.
RGV.
That's what they are. RGV. RGVFC Toros. Like, yeah, that sucks. Rio Grande Valley.
What'd they get? 0?
Of course. 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Los Dos won that.
Yeah, that's not good for RGV.
A rare.
Yeah, that's not good for RGV.
Yeah, it's like uh-oh. Of course, City won, Pittsburgh won, New Mexico won, Orange County won, Miami 0, Loudoun 0, Birmingham 0, Colorado Switchbacks 2, Louisville City 1, Indy 11 1. Another draw.
Yeah, that was a big result for us
11.
right there.
Exciting point.
That was a big result for us.
Tampa Bay Rowdies dropping points to Hartford 1-1. Las Vegas dropped the match entirely to Memphis 0-1. And Oakland lost to Monterey Bay 2-3 at home.
The Derby.
Finally, Phoenix and San Diego. Phoenix's fail season continues as they lose 3-2 at home to San Diego. In Sunday action, Sacramento topped Tulsa. Atlanta 2 with a 4-1 destruction to the Charleston Battery. And Rio Grande Valley lost 2-1 to San Antonio at home. Sad times in Rio Grande Valley. Sorry.
Not a great start for them.
That one. And that's it. That was 17 fucking matches, man. That's a lot.
We banged that out in about 3 minutes. So of those, there were a lot of draws in the East. Right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of favorable draws for us in the East. There was that wacky game on Wednesday, the Vegas, Tulsa. What was it?
No, it was
5-3.
Vegas, Trejo. It was supposed to be a good team.
Yeah. And it was the Nisa All-Star Special. So let's move on from USL.
Oh, El Paso.
That's right. It was El Paso. Okay, so yeah, that one was wacky. There was like 9 goals in 30 minutes or something like that at the end of the match.
Yeah, it was big.
And then Louisville and Indy drew this past weekend in our draw, which again that's good for us. Anyway, that teams near the top can lose points, and teams that are going to be in the middle lose points, like Indy. That's good. There was another draw in the East as well. It was Tampa Hartford, right?
Tampa and Hartford, yeah. Hartford, surprisingly, kind of a tough out right now.
Yeah. Shout out to Jordan.
They got that draw against him, right? And they, they narrowly lost the match to Pittsburgh despite being down a man, most of the match. So I mean, they're looking. I mean, despite only having 1 point, but they look all right. Better than Indy 11 does, anyway.
Yeah. So in the future, I think we'll kind of focus on the East and specifically important matches that have a bearing on us, or that they were just like wacky, had zany results, like the Las Vegas El Paso one last week. Just so we can keep the content fresh and interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that the main thing to say is that it does help establish a feeling of being involved in this process. if you kind of are following all the other stories a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would encourage people to look on the USL website every so often, see who's winning and who's losing, and go, huh,
It's really,
that's about all it takes.
honestly, the USL website and stats are one of the un- most underrated, underappreciated, under talked about uh, tools that we now have to follow the club. Honestly,
Yeah,
there's like heat maps, there's average positions, there's every blown
yeah.
pass by player per team per half, every successful duel won
Yeah,
or lost, and um,
it's funny. One of my patrons suggested that I kind of talk about how I use that stuff, um, in like a story.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I think I'm probably gonna go into that like next week about like here's kind of easy stuff anyone can glean from these tools,
yeah.
you
To
know,
help people
that
kind
they
of
have on the website.
understand and how to use that. Yeah,
Right.
that's awesome. I think that'll be really helpful
Yeah.
to people who want to
Yeah.
like dive deeper into following the club. Because actually, another thing that we talked about and was actually suggested by Jackie is that um, every week you and I and also Jam when she comes on is go over um, one thing that you, the viewer slash listener, may have missed in the game from the previous weekend and something to look for in the upcoming game against whoever we're playing. Like one specific thing, and like every week we'll always have, like each of us will have our own thing um, that was missed and
Yeah.
something to look
I
for.
mean, ordinarily that would be in the notes, but I didn't,
Yeah, no worries.
have any time. So I was just like, I don't know if we're doing that.
I
I'll
I
just,
would like to. I have some
yeah.
to start us off too.
We can probably yeah, we can
Yeah,
just
when
wing it.
as we talk
So,
about the Pittsburgh game, I'll go over my thing and you can go over your thing. Um, but yeah, that's something we want to add to and just get kind of whatever this format is locked down and how we want to do it. Um, so yeah, stay tuned for those. Um, let's you want to go into City v Pittsburgh?
yeah, um, I know one thing I noticed after the match is that Antoine said it. There were a couple other like little snippets of quotes from guys where they were emphasizing that they were not happy with a point at home, um, which I think is a um, good thing to hear. You know, having said that, for me as an observer, this was a good point, even though it was at home.
Yeah,
Um, um, this is a good team. Bob Lilly knows how to. He's an old pro, and he knows how to set up a team in a way that'll kind of ask questions of you. And um, they really did some things running hard at our center backs that I think they thought were just going to fuck us. And they really brought three. They brought three guys. Basically, they didn't start their normal kind of playmaker. The guy that came on later, the 33-year-old
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he didn't start. They started another guy who was kind of more of a high energy dude and really pressed with all three of those guys and tried to kind of almost man to man our center backs. And what they didn't anticipate, to me, it looked like, was how well Nate was going to handle that, especially in the second half. Um, they really looked to instead of playing through us, really looked to create turnovers
Yeah.
and try to get quick transitional chances, and we just didn't give up the ball in bad places.
Not like we did in the first
And
half.
once again won the even the second half, like almost throughout the match. Like rewatching, I've watched it like three times now. Um, each time I've watched it, I've kind of felt like a little better about how we played. Um,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's a good team, and at this level, we are going to face teams who will figure out some things, how to take some things away, and like we're not just going to have our own way. Um, and that was kind of, I think, some of the frustration of the players back in Nisa is like, you know I think there are times where they kind of felt like, is the opposition even trying?
Yeah,
Like,
it
they're just
was
taking nothing
cakewalk. It
away
was
from us. We're
cakewalk.
just
Yeah,
right. We're just doing what we want, and like, all right, well, we can do that all day long, I guess. Um, and against Pittsburgh, we faced a team that did take away some of the things we like to do, especially early on.
playing it up the middle through the
Um,
center was nearly impossible in the first half.
well, and we it's a pattern we noticed in the previous match, and I think we kind of tried to do it again. I think that we haven't worked out how to move it through the middle
No,
very well.
no.
When our in the shape we're in, we're very pressed out to the
Yep.
edges. The center backs, the wide center backs are pretty
Yep.
wide, and then behind them, Maxi and Brad tend to split.
They go
Like
wide.
top and
Yeah.
bottom and push over
They
push
absolutely.
over to that side.
Yeah.
So you got, there's no multiplicity of routes through the middle.
Yeah.
If whichever one of Brad or Maxie is toward the rear can play to the other one, and that's about it. Um,
Yeah. And
so
that's
um,
what I noticed too. I was looking through again, I'm gonna bring up the USL website because excellent
mm,
resource when looking how to see because like you can even divide up heat maps by time and player within a match.
yeah,
And
yeah,
which is like that's awesome. That's awesome to have that data available. Um, but what you saw at the beginning of the match was um, we were trying to find ways to work it through the center. Our midfielders were trying to find ways to work it through the center, and we never could really get that final ball forward through the center. It always would either get pushed wide, like you said, by the defenders, or just they're comfortable playing off the wings. So naturally, they start playing towards the wings just when the center
yeah.
stops working. Um,
I mean, this is one of the kind of the beauties of football is that, I mean, I didn't see us trying to play through the middle a ton. That's not how it looked to me. It looked to me like more like we were kind of like we attempted to do our regular pattern where we play mostly through the left.
yeah,
Um, and they really loaded that side up and like brought five guys onto that wing. So it was like, whoa, okay. Um, so then we kind of backed out and looked for other routes. Um, and I really felt like it was really only in the second half when we rolled the wingers forward a little more, made them like full on
yeah,
wingers, and then and play and instead of trying to play down the middle and combine all the way down or play down the sides and combine all the way down the side as we had been in the previous two matches, that we went ahead and you know let the play kind of bounce through the middle, that we started to create more chances wide because then we had pulled some defenders out of that
yeah,
flank and Reese was able to run in
yeah.
behind. um,
We
Now
here was my.
I have
Go ahead, go
yeah,
ahead.
but that, I mean, I, I I don't think playing through the middle is something City's really trying to do. And if they do, they're going to need a lot more. They're going to need Antoine to get a lot more touches in the middle.
Yeah,
And right now, he's really kind of the third man in on each wing. He's swinging from wing to wing
yeah.
to
I
combine.
was looking at positional placements of Antoine, of Brad, and Maxi, and
Hmm.
it was really interesting to see the difference between the first half and second half. Um, in the first half, they were positioned um, mid center and uh, wide on either side center almost exclusively, like very rarely moving too far into the opponent half, very rarely moving back unless we were under
Yeah, well, I
pressure.
mean, we didn't get very far into their
No, no,
territory in the first
not at
half.
all.
We
No, it
didn't.
was nothing. And then so here's my thing you may have missed. Um, all of their touches in the second half took place on the
Hmm.
right side of the pitch. Like
Oh, okay.
easily 85% of their touches took place on the right on our right
Yeah.
side attack. And
So I
all
mean,
three
I wouldn't.
players. So they were rotating in and out of that spot.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was a conversation at halftime that went something like, Reese is the matchup
Yeah.
that we can beat him
Yeah.
with,
I guarantee it.
um, and they had that Jelani Peters on that side, and he's pretty quick for being 6'5", but he's 6'5", and Reese is Reese is quicker.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, we just like really fed the ball down to Reese, and
yep.
he once again created chances for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was just really crazy, and that's what I wanted to get to. Was I feel like that may have excuse me, that may have been one of the things that Trevor
mm,
talked about, was to focus on the right half of the attack because of, like you said, Reese's speed, or maybe they
right,
identified him as a weakness in that back line or something. I don't know that much, but I can tell you
yeah.
that our plan of attack from the first half through the our plan of attack through the midfield in the first half is completely different than what it was the second half.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to know, and I don't think I ever will know how, like, what percentage of that is directed. How much of that is Trev and the staff going, okay, well, here's where to look, or here's where to look, and how much of that is just Brad Maxey kind of,
Yeah, feeling it out.
you know, like trying things and talking to each other and talking to everybody else and figuring it out. Um, I did want to talk about the goal
Yeah, yeah.
against.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the goal against.
Because that always a bummer to give up a set piece goal.
Yeah,
Um, and again, the other guys are playing, so it's not like somebody deserves to be ashamed right
yep,
now. But it did look to me like, what they had going was they had their two center backs came forward, and Matt and Stevie marked them, and they just basically had their center backs, start in the mixer, not the mixing bowl, but the mixer, um, and then kind of and just fade back, just kind of look for, if he hits an outswinger, look to get ahead on it,
yeah,
and neither of those runs into negative space were marked super well. And it once they won the header and were able to head it, on to
yeah,
goal, we were at sixes and sevens. Pato tries to clear it. It comes off his foot weird, falls right to Dequa, who's been heading goalward since the ball was kicked on the
yep.
corner. He taps it in. Yeah, I mean,
Just a lapse. That's just
I,
a lapse.
right. I'm sure it's one that they've, talked about and worked on. The thing, we are going to have to be extra frosty on set pieces because everybody's got just mammoth dudes to aim the ball at. And, like our guys are like,
Memphis is
we
going to be
got
scary.
regular,
Memphis is going to be
we
scary.
got, right. We'll get to them. But I mean, we got regular sized dudes, like we aren't as big as we were last year. And, you know, like it can be tough. Like you gotta be really sharp and ready to like attack the ball. And it didn't really. It felt like once we lost the header that we just kind of like lost
Yep.
initiative. It was like, ah,
Well,
well,
yeah,
shit.
yep. That's
Oh,
over.
this is happening. Yeah,
Frustrated.
yeah, yeah.
um, that's yeah. That was. And then wasn't the initial corner, wasn't that a giveaway too, or am I mistaken on that?
Yeah, I'm. Man, I have. I have incredibly detailed play-by-play notes. Let me find them.
Because I feel like it was just one of those things where we had it was a short lapse. We had been, even though we had really a difficult time getting the ball forward in the final third, like we were maintaining possession and really trying to build out the way we do, and just anytime we built up, they would get it and then create a good opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what my notes say is Matt giveaway leads to a couple of attacks against. I think this was where Matt tried to switch the ball maybe, um, and it got picked off in midfield.
Yeah,
Um, and that led to a couple of attacks that wound up with Nate making a save, and that's where the corner came from.
got it. Yeah.
Um,
So
so
just
yeah.
and that's so one thing that
So not Matt's greatest like 5 minutes of his career.
that's just that
Um,
lapse. It was fucking
but
cold out too.
right.
And they're very big guys.
Yeah.
But No, so
Well, and it was it like this is it's picking nits really
it
because I
is.
mean that is a tough run to mark.
Yeah.
That run fading back like okay. I mean, I guess you got to stay with them and like be there so that if the ball comes to them, you can kind of jump into them and make it hard for them to do anything with the ball. That's how you get all those pop up
Yeah, yeah,
headers.
yeah.
It's because you're getting contested and jostled as you're
It's
going to head it.
it's a
Um,
cluster.
yeah.
So, who
So.
was your man of the match? Or do we want to talk
Um,
about like I don't know. It's so hard to pick these days.
yeah, it is. I mean, I I think that it makes sense for media like the club's got to pick somebody, you
Of
got to say
course. Yeah.
somebody. Maxi got the goal, and it was kind of his. One of the notable changes in the second half was that he really kind of just raised his game
Yep.
just a little bit, just that like 3%. Um, but for me, like I once again you could say Devin, once again you could say Reese.
Yeah.
Nate was real good again. It's I mean honestly those four guys have been real good every match, so it's kind of like it's tough.
I
Uh,
think I would give my nod to probably Devin. Um, only because he was on the whole game per usual,
yeah.
and the first half of like I don't know if Reese touched the ball the first half. To be honest, like they seem to be going through Declan or trying to go through Declan a lot the first half. Like
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they were kind of like I say. I think that they had kind of worked out the original scheme. I think this is just me watching and guessing. The original scheme is you work the ball to the left so that you have space on the right,
yeah,
and you got Reese slashing on the right,
cutting
and
in
and
and
that'll
stuff.
create
Yeah,
right. So Reese in that case is he's playing wing back, but he's the offside winger, so he's like always slashing in, always kind of a target. Once you actually make something with that possession, then Reese is part of the moving toward
yep.
goal.
And he did not
But I
get
think
many
that
opportunities.
but that just did not
Yeah,
work. Yeah, they just didn't like they couldn't get the ball to him. I mean,
but
a lot of the forwards were pretty starved for service. They didn't, Pato had 29 touches. Um,
yep.
I think Connor had like 23. Like so not a lot of touches for those guys, and Reese was that way in the first half. But then we kind of just switched how we were playing and
Went through the right.
played more
Yeah.
through the middle, which made it kind of a little like less of a chore to get the ball to the
Yeah.
right wing.
Yeah. So and then so because of that, I think I would give it to Devin just because he made an impact the whole game and was consistently good. And I mean, there's still some errors and whatever like to be expected, especially against a team like Pittsburgh. But no, like
Right.
yeah, I think he had a really good game. So did Nate. Like you said, Nate. Yeah, between the two.
Yeah, I mean, rewatching the match, the thing that really struck me was how hard Pittsburgh were pressing us in the second half. They were pressing us right to the end line. I mean,
Yeah.
like, still like sprinting into the box the moment the ball is blown into play.
Yeah.
Like stay lining up outside the box, and like Nate touches it to a center back, and they're running at the center back right now, and we're having to play through Nate as the sweeper a lot, and he was just very clean, and um, he likes to try to skip lines. He likes to try to play, you know. The thing that happened in the second half was that it
Yeah.
worked. Like it really
Yeah.
worked. He was really connecting out and finding like Reese, really Reese a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
on that right wing. Just kind of um, those flat 40-yard balls he plays. They're never more than like 8 feet off the ground. Um,
that's like Nate trademark
Right.
distribution
It's just
right there.
whistling out
Yeah.
there, like yeah. If it's a foot higher, it's going like 2 feet over his head out of bounds. Like, just never not quite coming down. Um, but yeah, I thought Nate was very good, and I really, the thing that I realized watching this match yet again, and I'm like, I think Nate is legitimately an elite goalkeeper in this league, and that like what that means is that Nate is one of the 40 or 50 best goalkeepers in the United States of America right now. which is just ridiculous
It's
to contemplate. But like, I mean, I'm probably underselling him on that at that number. I'm guessing that half the dudes who are backups for MLS are better than him, but that may not be true.
yeah.
I mean, he is playing outstanding football, um, like from every angle. Like, smart, focused, sharp, aggressive, good in the air. His positioning's been on point. Like all of the things he would have said 3 years ago. Like, yeah, well, but he's not good at this, and he's not good at that. Like he's good at all that stuff now. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, I I don't know how closely the thing that's one of the things about USL is that there's a lot of people watching it, um, but I don't know how closely a lot of people watch it really. You know what I mean? Like I don't see a lot of really meaty conversations online about like USL players and like thinking about how they bring a different feel or how they approach the game or whatever. Like there's data nerds and there's like noobs, and that's about it.
Noobs in the way
Um,
that like barely scratching the surface on
right,
discussing the
right.
game and yeah.
I mean, look, football is a deep, deep, deep hole, and if you've been digging in it for a couple years, you're like I'm just telling you, if you've been a football fan for a couple years, you are deep in Dunning Kruger effect. Like you feel like, holy shit, this is amazing how much I've learned. Like, brother, you, it has just begun. Like there's so much more. I mean, I'm a quarter century into it and realizing like I'm gonna die not knowing anything. Um, so like there's a lot here, um, and yeah, I feel like Nate has been extraordinarily good, and if this is his level and not like form,
Yeah.
it's always the question,
Yep.
right? Is it quality or is it form? I mean, if this is quality, um, like he's gonna go back to Europe, uh, like, because I mean, he is balling out of his fucking mind right now.
It's so crazy to think about. It's so crazy to think about. Like
I mean, yeah, it's blowing my fucking mind, man. Like that is Nate.
like we know that kid.
Yeah, we know that guy.
um, do you want to talk about the elephant in the room for a brief second before we go to break? And that is our depth.
Oh yeah, I mean, um, you know, I will say that it's hopeful that we've spent. It's clear, like Sam Joyce is the sports science guy, and I think Megan is that the name of the
I
trainer.
think so.
I'm blank. I'm
I'll
like,
pull it up. Keep going. I'll
I'm
pull it
so
up.
sorry. Yeah, I'm blanking on your name, but both fantastic, fantastic professionals. Okay, and incredibly necessary to keep our ragtag fleet like limping forward through this very long season. Um, because I mean, that is the concern for me, and I think it's probably the concern for everybody around the team. Like injuries, there's a lot of things you can do to eliminate use injuries and to keep an eye on people's long-term fatigue and thereby make them less susceptible to catastrophic injury and things like that. But catastrophic injuries are called catastrophic for a reason. They're accidents. They're something going wrong, and a couple of those um, your routine injuries that take a player out for 3 to 6 weeks. We get two or three of those, and like we are up against the wall and like almost literally asking fans if they want to like trial and sit on the bench. Like, I mean, okay, not we can't do that literally. That wouldn't actually work. That's a joke. Yeah, I don't want people like writing me going, "Oh, I'll do it." Like, no, no, no. Okay, that's never going to happen. Like, um, but um, either one of our flank guys gets hurt, we're gonna have to change shape. like immediately. Nobody. We've got two guys that can play those roles, exactly two. That's it. Um, if one of the center backs gets hurt, I guess we could stay in the same shape, but we would struggle a little bit. Like really, the starting 11 is like those 11 guys almost. It's almost like that. Up front is not it's not that way. The front three, okay.
Switch them out.
We could mix and match with the guys that we got up there. Probably Antoine will play all the minutes that he's healthy for. But everybody else is kind of like, fighting for minutes up front. But in the three and the four in the 3-4-3 are like written in ink, and injuries to any of those guys would, you know, at least gimp sort of the way we're playing, if we were able to maintain shape, and most likely would mean that we'd have to change shape, um, and go to a four or something.
So Maureen is doing her best to make sure that the guys stay healthy.
Maureen. Okay. Gosh. I
Maureen.
knew it. I was like, this is the wrong name.
No, and so
Yeah,
like you said, those two are great at what
they
they
really
do.
are. Well, like when you see all those publicity shots of the guys in the ice tubs, that's the the medical team going, look, man, you got to get the lactic acid out of your muscles right now. Okay, like, get in there. So yeah, I mean that is, that's going to be, and the longer we go and the longer we stay competitive, the more of it, like it's like you're going further and further out on the branch, like we're a little more tired, because fatigue is a thing we know now that builds up slowly in your body over time, especially if you're repeatedly doing these kind of incredibly stressful things, like it gradually grinds you down. And that's why NBA teams do rotation. And it's all because of shit that soccer learned. That's all from the Milan lab in the 90s.
Is that
Uh,
really? Wow.
so,
I didn't know that.
like, yeah, that's like all that recovery science and everything. Like they really jumped that shit forward, like
Milan
massively.
did? Like
Yeah.
AC Milan did in the 90s?
That's well, those great AC Milan teams. You know how like they
Yeah,
could they
yeah,
could run
yeah,
all day. They were never
yeah.
hurt. It was because they,
I didn't know it was Milan that did it. That's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
Fun
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Last thing
So,
you may have missed in this city match. Did you?
okay, something you may have missed. Mm, mm, mm. Man, I don't know.
Chad has a you may
Um,
have missed in the
yeah,
chat.
I may have missing.
He said they added those new comfy seats on the bench for a reason, and it's to keep the players comfortable. So
It's like they need to put the little cowl up and
yeah.
like get the little heaters. Like, man.
So watching the Memphis game, Sean,
Hmm.
come out with a you may have missed, that
Okay, yeah, yeah.
the average viewer may have not caught. Mine was
I mean,
in the second half. We played almost exclusively up through the right.
gosh, I'm trying to think. Like, I usually have a bunch of that stuff, but of course, like now that I'm trying to think of it, I'm like, I
It's
don't
gone.
know.
It's gone. I'll tell you what. Let's head to a break. We're gonna bring Jam on.
Okay, cool.
If you can think of one, we
Okay,
can
I'm gonna
come
go through
back
my
with
notes real quick.
it. All right, so
Okay.
we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from these not sponsors.
From no one.
From no one. Ooh, Jam! Oh my God, you made it!
Yay!
Hello.
Sean, did you come up with anything?
I did not. I just looked through my notes and was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I didn't know I needed to until this week, so
Surprise.
I'll be better
No
next week.
Yeah,
Soft launch.
I'm terrible.
Soft
I'm
launch.
sorry.
I've got another one.
You got another one?
I've got one for Memphis. So we'll we'll see once we start the conversation about Memphis. Just because I rewatched that game and whew, let's talk about it.
You talking about them in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Is that what you watched? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them in the previous game, the Elvis Cup or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Oh God.
Jam! Oh my God, we can talk about those mattresses.
But that, I fucking told you.
It's every game.
We just keep running into Las Vegas.
Actually,
It's every game. It was every game. There's mattresses. There's cars parked on the pitch. There was multiple Elvises around the stadium.
Did they dump money on the field at the half this time?
I saw something flying around. It could have just been like a shit ton of confetti at the beginning of the match, but there were a lot of shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans.
From the shenanigans capital of the world.
Also, I met Jesse.
I fucking told you.
Oh wait, was he the dude in the morph suit?
The green man, but actually the yellow man.
It was Yellow Man, yeah.
Piss Man.
Morph suit guy.
Jesse and him and Steve, who, oh boy, I was kind of inebriated when I met him. He has a
How inebriated was Jesse?
Extremely. But no, Steve does a podcast in Pittsburgh, and I can't remember what it's called because I'm really inebriated. If I was really inebriated, less inebriated now. So it's a hard word to say.
I didn't know iced tea, but keywords.
But met them too. Cool dudes. Honestly, everyone I interacted with in person from Pittsburgh was great.
Yeah. Their social media is less great.
Well, we can wrap it up with going back to that. I think that's how it's in the show notes. But
is it? Okay.
Yeah. So, but the.
Oh yeah.
Jesse,
I guess I could read the show notes that I've got open in front of me. What?
Jesse was great. He drank the beer through the morph suit. Posted a video of it.
Wow.
onto the podcast Twitter. So shout out to Jesse for being an excellent sport. No, it was hilarious. So Memphis.
Fail Caesar.
Fail Caesar.
Fail Caesar.
Jan, what's your sign say?
This is Fail Caesar. You guys can't read.
Fail. I can't read. Why do we have to drag my shame out onto this?
Fail Caesar.
Here it is. I make it simple, even for the people who can't read. Good.
Fail Caesar. Yeah. Don't read so.
So for listeners who may not know, and I think if you've been following City in any capacity, you have to know. But why are we saying fail Caesar, Jam?
Because fuck them.
Who's their coach?
Ben is their coach.
Ben Pirmann.
Ben Ben Pirmann?
That Ben Pirmann.
Ben Pirmann. The Ben Pirmann who told me I was a bad supporter once.
He gatekept you?
He gatekept me after St. Pauli.
Oh my God! Why?
At the bar, he was leaving and was trying to get me to go to the casino with them. I politely declined, and he told me that I was a bad supporter because I would not go to the casino with him.
I mean, I think if you need a contrast between the current administration and the previous one, I think you just got it.
Yeah.
There it is.
I mean,
I am a bad supporter, but that's not
Right.
why.
I would, I think there is like a 0.000000000000001 chance that Trevor James would try to shame you into going to the casino with the lads. So yeah.
Jackie in the chat, Jam, says you should encourage them to go to the casino on Friday night
Seriously.
for a good pregame visit.
I'll get right on it. Let's see what happens. Shit gets weird on Fridays
Yeah.
around
Or
here.
I mean, it's not like we know anybody who works in a casino.
Oh no.
So I don't know.
So so Ben and the Ben way of doing things and the Trevor way of doing things. For those who don't know, there's kind of an inside joke about the type of game that we're used to seeing from Ben, right?
Right.
What,
Yeah. I mean,
what,
yeah. I would. I call it let's call it Pirmann ball. In my notes I say,
ball.
yeah, it's not it's not pretty football. Okay, you build a team around your strengths, and I believe that Ben's strengths are motivational. And so he turns out 11 dudes who are ready to just like run through a fucking brick wall right now. But that mentality presents limitations on how complex the information you can be processing is while in that berserker rage. Um, so that's where I think that the Pirmann ball kind of time, like basically we're talking about very direct,
long ball, merchant.
Yeah, long ball, straight at goal. Everyone's scrapping for the ball. The thing, the thing you can say is that you're not going to be able to rest on the ball like in midfield. They're going to swarm you. But if you can keep the ball moving, you can make them chase you like a crowd of like school children and
tire them out.
It's an
like we
even
might want to.
though. We got.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
that,
thinking
Jim?
that like. Sorry.
It's an even year. We got this.
I'm thinking. Well, like I really think this is a match where we might want to consider, like the capos might want to consider, like sort of maybe not having like song, but like if we're dominating the match and passing the ball around, this would be a match where we could work on getting Ole going. I think because I really think we're gonna have like 70% of the ball here.
Do you think it's gonna be that much?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we are that like we had almost 60% of the ball, while Pittsburgh is a possession team that presses the shit out of you, and we still kept the ball 60% against them almost. Like we're good at possession.
Well,
like,
and
really
so
good.
on the next thing you kind of mention on your show notes, and actually this was something that I wanted to bring up too, is like normally that's what we expect from Ben, right? Is just very direct, long balls. Right. Here you go, Jim. Cram jam it in there.
Yeah.
But last week against Vegas, they came out looking pretty familiar.
Yeah, I mean, it was written in the program as like a 5-4-1. Didn't really look like that to me. It looked more like they were kind of trying to play a similar 3-4-3 to what we've been playing, where you've got the wide center backs and the wing backs playing more as like wingers almost, and the two guys in the midfield, like all of that. But the two guys in the midfield were very deep. Like it was just it's the third formation they played in 3 weeks, and there's a lot of little details about playing a possession formation like a 3-4-3, like where the angles you're going to expect the ball to go in, and like little things that the players need to have ironed out before you can't just kind of go right. And I think that some of that work is not done yet, or isn't going to be done. So it looks rudimentary, frankly, compared to what we're doing. I mean, they're playing like 3 center backs and 2 defensive midfielders, and it's kind of like it's basically it's a broken team. is what they call it in Italian, right? Where you have it's 7 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
You broke the key. It's 7 and 3. You got three up here, and you're just like the 7 win it and try to get it and try to play straight to the 3 who like hopefully can cram jam.
The cram
yeah.
jam.
And well, that that's during the Catenaccio period.
Yeah.
That was something that they talked about a lot. Like they would say you'd see the team set up and they'd say, oh, it's a broken team. Like, you'll get 2 attack. Like, you're spending a day.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Kind of that. I was like,
So we have no idea what they're going to show up to Detroit with, right?
Yeah.
It's just so it could be anything.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead, James.
And I mean, also too, like they're not one of those teams that's been around forever with the same coach. Like,
yeah. Do you know when Ben got this job? Like, what was the story behind him getting this job? Do you know that, Jam?
So the team itself started playing in 2019. He was initially the assistant coach.
Right.
And then they shit canned their head coach. And he took over, I want to say the beginning of last year.
I think it was 2020.
That's right.
I think it was 2020. They didn't have like a 2020 season, right? So he got hired in 2020, and then last season would have been his first. So I think you're right.
I think, I don't know if it was a clean like beginning of the season. I can't remember if it was a mid-season thing.
I think he was. I mean, I think he at least had the off season before 2021 where he was the head coach the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, this is his second off season, I think.
That sounds right.
He's been there since the beginning.
So,
but then they got rid of the first guy.
So they're a young team. Do they have fans?
Yes.
They do?
They have fans.
Oh, wow.
Hooray. And from what I can tell, honestly, like, I don't know based on our distance, but they seem to historically have traveled well to at least nearby matches.
Like Louisville and stuff like that.
I have a feeling anyone who saw the first 2 home matches for City is like, nope, I'm not traveling to that. Like, we'll wait till summer.
Yeah, and they used to have a thing before Nashville got the MLS team. Like, they were a thing in USL that first season.
Did they have like a derby thing?
I don't know if they had like an actual official derby, but this is something I thought was really funny when I was doing my research. So, so they do this guitar smash at the beginning of their home matches.
Right.
I
forgot about that.
So it's fucking lame.
Do they have like an Elvis impersonator do it, or is it like?
No. So here's the thing. So they smash the guitar before the match starts.
Okay.
It's usually like a local celebrity. They've had a couple fans do it. The only person in the list of people that I recognized that's done it was Penny Hardaway.
Oh. Wow.
Because I'm fucking old. So
yeah.
Oh my God.
That was the only one I recognized. But this whole guitar smash thing, like they wanted to do something to like get participation and like do, a Memphis thing. But
they need their railway spike or whatever. Their chainsaw Joey.
The fucking timbers saw the log and whatever.
American soccer.
So some gimmick shit. But because they had this like rivalry with Nashville, what I was found in my research is that when they decided to do this guitar smash, part of the reason why they picked this as a thing is because at the time Nashville had a guitar-shaped scoreboard.
Oh no!
And fuck y'all. Smash a guitar. No shit. I swear I read this on the internet.
That's like really interesting. And it also kind of sucks to make that like your shtick, and then like they left the league.
I respect the commitment to bitterness that like keeps them doing it. Like, I don't give a fuck. We're smashing guitars every fucking match. You hear me?
Fuck
You know, like,
Nashville.
okay, go for it. That's great, Memphis.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started, but it is still a thing. But yeah, it's local celebrities. I think they've had like players do it. They've had a couple fans do it because, yay, a team with fans.
So do they have SGs?
They have an SG. They're called the Bluff City
Oh,
Mafia.
I've actually seen them. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're no.
Fact. There is also a completely unrelated rap group from Memphis, also called the Bluff City Mafia.
Perfect.
So who has who has the better SEO?
Like, you're not a real supporters group if no one's beefing over your name.
But when you Google them, like, it's pretty mixed results. Not as much as Pittsburgh like last week, but they do get media coverage. There's interviews out there with people in the SG about the SG.
It wasn't the rap group.
Also the rap. It's kind of mixed.
Yeah, like who has the better SEO?
They need to bring the rap group in.
Actually, it's the supporters group.
Oh, nice, cool, good for them.
So good for them. They do Pride Raiser, so also good for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I also saw they've been doing a partnership the last couple years. And I particularly thought this was cool with a local group called Girls with Goals. It's a local charity that gets girls into playing soccer and giving them opportunities. And it looks like they volunteer with that organization and also do fundraisers and donate money to them. So more girls playing soccer is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Awesome.
But also they're your standard boring USL supporters group.
Yeah.
$25 membership fee per user.
I was just gonna ask. Sorry.
$20 seems to be the USL supporter group standard.
Yeah.
You get your start, get your
the literature that you get from the league. It's like, oh yeah, here's how you start a supporters group. You ask for $25. You give them a scarf, and
that's a
discount on
later.
coffee.
That's a later quest line than when you pick up the what will your pre-game, post-game gimmick be, where you choose like, oh, it's a railroad spike. No, we're smashing a guitar. We're cutting a timber. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You fucking jerk off.
It's on the thing.
All read the same Peter Wilt fucking, how to.
The Peter Wilt how to.
Connect with your community. Man, fuck you guys.
Hear a lot of the same from me this season.
That's okay.
I mean, everybody's got their little shit, but like overall, it's all more of the same. They are independent, like they don't seem to be super intertwined with their front office, so that's great.
Yeah.
They're active on social media, but they don't have an actual website. Like if you want to join and pay the membership,
is it through the club website?
It's literally just like PayPal this fucking email address.
Sketchy.
Nice.
Sketchy, but if you've been to Memphis, you know that Memphis is also a little sketchy.
So are they like,
exactly.
please use the friends and family one. We really can't afford the fees.
Yeah, listen, we can't afford the fees.
No, I didn't go on and pay them, so I didn't ask.
No, usually people put that right in the thing, like $25 to this PayPal. Please use friends and family. Yeah. We can't afford the service fee.
Look, I worked for PayPal for like 5 years.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. Everyone's friends.
Give them as little money as possible.
Yeah, the human family. We're all part of the same.
We're a terrible fucking company to do business with.
This is true.
I'm shocked.
This is true.
I'm shocked.
This is true. So sorry, totally got sidetracked. No, I was thinking about PayPal, which sucks. No, so typical standard SG, no website. Do they like sell merch? Like how do they
they tweet. It looks like they do sell merch like at games. So without a website, it doesn't look like, as far as I can tell, they do like actual online sales.
Okay.
But they do use their Twitter. They have a Facebook group. They use their Instagram. So they're out there. They just don't have like an actual dedicated website. So
but it's safe to say that like the vast majority of the people attending a Memphis 901 match are not supporters; they're consumers, right?
yeah, I mean like it looks like they have. I mean, as far as USL supporter groups go, like a decent amount of people and interaction
Like
and
getting
things like
rowdy and
that.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're not like I don't know a fucking 2 team who has like 10 people that go to their match.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So they seem good. The only thing I did find too that always is going to gross me out is it seems like one of their founders was AO, so they are AO adjacent.
Yeah.
Par for the
But I
course.
mean, look, this is what like
But that's
AO,
American soccer.
like it's AO. I think for a lot of people in the kind of soccer hinterlands is like your first point of contact. You're kind of interested in this. The national team is the thing that gets people talking. In the USA, like, oh, they're wearing the flag. Let's get all
Yeah,
jerked
I
up
guess
about this.
it's never been my experience. Like I went straight to like I'd seen a soccer match one time when I was overseas and was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
no, I'm
came
talking about
back
this.
and
I'm talking about the same population of people that get radicalized online. I'm talking about like single dudes. That's how they get in. Like AO is like kind of radicalization. Like, oh, red pill, USA, right
there.
the fuck on.
Yeah, I just like I never did that, so it's always weird to me where I'm
Yeah.
just like, why are people into this? I don't
Jam, what
understand.
game did you
Yeah.
go to overseas?
I don't even remember what year it was at this point. No, it was
Details
Everton.
hazy.
Who was it? Sorry.
Um, I was Everton and Arsenal. I was on tour,
Oh wow.
and this guy that we were staying with was like, "Yo, I have these tickets to this soccer match. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, it's a thing to do."
When in
And
England?
it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. So what?
And
Yeah.
also partially related, we'll go with this. We'll tie it into Memphis. It was like one of the first few games that Tim Howard played for Everton.
Oh wow.
That
Okay.
is a great segue.
No, I mean, but that is a really cool story. How have I never heard this story?
I've never heard that
this.
story either.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. So
And that was it. Like I went to this soccer game and saw it, and like it was really fun, and I had a good time. But when I came home at the time, like there wasn't a
Right.
team in Phoenix, so
Right.
like I watched Premier League on TV, and I watched the World Cup, and then Phoenix got a team. But like that's my soccer
And you're
story.
like, hell yeah,
Awesome.
Drogba.
I was like, hell yeah, let's get drunk at ASU.
Yeah.
Because I'd already done that many times before.
You're like, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I did this in college.
That's so funny.
a
Oh
semester.
my god. So I have getting back to the game itself really quick of what we can look for this weekend. I have a thing to watch out for, and we'll see if it comes true. Hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't. But none of their forwards have scored. None of Memphis's forwards have scored. It's all been, I think it's 2 midfielders and a defender have scored for them. They have 3
Yeah.
goals, which none of our forwards have scored either. It's been midfielders, right? So one thing I will say we need to look out.
I would argue that Antoine is a forward, but that's fine.
I mean,
That's a debate for another episode.
but I will say one thing that we need to watch out for, and one thing that was kind of the bane of our first half against Pittsburgh was that second ball, because
Yep.
their midfield, and by the second ball I mean, okay, Nate bombs it deep, tries to get it to Reese, tries to get it to Antoine, tries to get it to whomever's out there, right? And let's say they don't get a good control of it, they lose the aerial duel, or they head it down, but then it gets intercepted. Memphis kind of plays that way. That like the goal they scored against Vegas was a
Yep.
breakdown in the midfield, and they got it off the attack. like a quick counter off of that. So we need to be really cognizant and aware of our second balls and how their midfield jumps at opportunities.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to like say this very briefly, although that is not my specialty. But I think that what we're going to see here and I think that what we've seen already a couple of times in this season is a contrast between teams choosing to play in a reactive way versus choosing to play in a proactive way. San Antonio, I believe, was very reactive. They want to play a counterattacking style. I think Ben's entire thing, he's like, I think he kind of thinks that like formations and keeping the ball and all that is fancy Dan bullshit and like it's not real. And he like what he believes the game is about like, you know, screwing your courage to the sticking point and winning that second ball and being the sharpest and wanting it most. And you know, obviously Trevor takes some slightly different, like a little more cerebral approach. But the difference is that one is trying to the Ben way is kind of saying to you, giving up the idea that you can control the chaos at all, that like there's any point to even going through those motions, like fuck that, it never actually works. What we're going to do is we're just going to accept that it's all just chaos, and we're going to try to like make two good decisions in the right moment in that chaos, and bam bam score.
Yep.
You know, and we're trying to like make 1,000 good decisions in every 30 seconds, and manage to a lot of the time, but it's a very, very different approach. Yeah, like I said, that wasn't going to be.
No,
short,
I mean, that was.
Never mind.
It was okay. It was like 3 minutes. You're good. And it was all like very insightful and very like it was good. It was a few minutes well spent, in my opinion.
It's way better than anything I.
Yeah,
have
no,
to
I'm
say.
just like pyramid ball. Yeah, fart noise.
Yeah, fart noise.
I don't have the ability to eloquently describe pyramid ball in that way. I'm just like, yeah, just fucking they boot the ball and long ball merchant, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So, yeah,
I was born this way.
That's what I got for Memphis. I think it's going to be. Oh man, if we can, we didn't get to do this last week, and I wanted to, because I like hot takes, and I like committing to something and having to put it out there. But I
hate it so much. I hate it.
So bad at commitment,
I know,
Dion.
but I'm like, what? You full send. We're full send
Like,
here.
like I'm the boyfriend looking back meme about every idea. Is this your idea? I don't know that one. And they're like, okay, well, make that your girlfriend. I don't know, but the previous one, ideas.
So stick to one. What's the result this weekend?
Jamie.
We're fucking doing it.
I'm saying, yeah, Jamie, ladies first.
We're
According
making
to
Jamie go
Sean,
first.
the scoreline. What do you? Who's getting it? Who's doing it? How many are they doing?
Who's getting it? What are we talking about?
We're getting it.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Is a forward gonna score?
Maybe.
Antoine.
Damn it, Sean!
Call back.
Sean, what's the score gonna be?
3-1 City.
3-1 City.
I think we go down early.
Oh.
I think they come out just like blood in their eyes, like Rah! And get a turnover and score, and we just sort of methodically grind them down and like polish them into smooth little stones by the end of it.
That's a hot take, and I like it.
And then I think they massively overcommit, guys, you know, and we get a goal on the break at the end to make it 3-1.
Love it. I think that's a fair assessment. I'm going 2-0. I'm saying Steve, man of the match. I'm saying Steve gets one.
Nice.
And
does he take the ball to Ben at the end of the match?
He's taking the ball to Ben at the end of the match. And I think that
here's my match winning ball. I don't know if you're going to get many of these anymore.
And then I think. Ooh. I think Reese is gonna get one too. I do.
I hope
think he
so. I
will.
like him.
I think he will.
I think it's funny. An unfamiliar person liked one of my tweets today, and I was like, "Who in the heck is it?" Oh, it's Reese's mom. I was like, "Oh."
That's
Guess
really
I gotta.
cute.
Now it's like, oh, that makes it harder to be objective sometimes. His mom is listening. Come on.
Oh no.
Anyway.
So do we want to? Actually, we're gonna propose. I'm gonna propose this live. What does your Sundays look like? What does your Sunday look like, everyone?
I deliver pizzas until 5.
I wake up, get high, and rewatch the match.
That's what I do. Do you want to, in the evening, do a Sunday night special report for the Open Cup match and make it like a condensed episode?
Sure.
I'm into it.
I can talk shit about Michigan Stars
for like 20, 25 minutes.
At the drop of a hat for as long as you want.
We could talk about the Trump rally that happened the night before and how many people were arrested and how many cars got stuck. Like we can talk about that.
I think that we need to put this episode out with 7 hours of silence preceding it, just to, you know. Like, I don't know where that went.
How topical.
Yeah, exactly. Was it treason? Maybe treason.
But yeah, so let's do that.
Sorry.
San Diego.
San Diego. He was on the phone with Trump. Andrew or Carlton or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
So yeah, let's shoot to do like a Sunday night special report. Scouting the Stars. We'll do it in the evening after Sean's done being the pizza angel.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have no idea what the Stars personnel looks like.
None. I'm gonna.
They're like a minor league team. We don't even need to worry about that shit. Like we're gonna go in there. We're gonna ball them out.
It's Steven and the other brother. That's all we need to know.
There's gonna be so much of this. It's just gonna be.
Kyle's gone now.
Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
So, but with that being said, Adam did ask a question on Twitter, and it's for between Memphis and Stars, and he asks
12.7.
Any worry to the short turnaround time for Tuesday's U.S. Open Cup match against the Stars?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. As
1,000% yes.
Like, right, we have really a very limited ability to rotate players.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing against a team that's going to just run at us for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
How many swirlies is George going to give?
Unlimited swirlies, right? Like he never stops.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly the scenario that you hope not to find yourself in as the bigger club, where you don't want to risk your guys because this really doesn't mean a lot to you in terms of like what finishing in the playoffs would mean to you, like financially and in terms of, like whatever. And this team has the team you're playing is kind of an unknown, who have lots of, kind of built up resentment against you to begin with. Like it's just really exquisitely rigged for
drama
collapse, yeah.
And we can talk more about that Sunday for sure.
Huh?
Go ahead, Jim.
I hate the Open Cup. Fuck it.
I really go back and forth on it. I do.
I love the Open Cup. I want it to be what it should be, which is equivalent to the FA Cup. But the like watching the people that actually administer it, U.S. Soccer, just like wipe their ass with it for like the last 2 decades, has slightly tarnished its allure for me.
Just a little shit covered now.
I mean, it is like it's one of the easiest handles to get to grab hold of U.S. Soccer's malfeasance in its kind of shepherding of the game in the United States to me. So yeah.
The idea of the open cup.
The romantic idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good idea, but it fucking sucks. And fuck Sharda and fuck George.
Fuck Steve.
And that's
there'll be a lot more
Yeah.
fucking of the stars on Sunday evening at some point. We'll figure out when.
Check out fucking baby Steven's Instagram though. He wears so many awful suits.
I could actually, if you could take screenshots of those, I bet I could put together a short video, and we could do a live on the air slideshow of all of
This
Steven's
needs to
bad
happen. We need to,
suits.
and then we can like.
Okay.
Okay, so we're actually doing our session planning right in front of everyone.
Yeah.
But like, yes, I think that we should definitely have a slideshow of Steven Chunkai looks that we can
Roast.
Discuss.
Okay. I'll take care of that. I'll have it to you by tomorrow afternoon.
It's gonna be a slow Thursday. No.
Listen, if you ordered stuff from wherever Jamie works,
Day for me tomorrow. I'm gonna hang out and like talk to Dennis all
Hell
day.
yeah.
awesome.
No, so definitely we can do that. Enough about Sharda. We'll deal with them on Sunday. To close out, do we want to talk about the Steel Army's post briefly? Maybe we each give our take on it and then go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it is one of those classist. Like I've seen people saying it's racist. I don't. There's no people in the thing, but it's definitely classist. And it's this idea that you're shooting a lower middle class residential neighborhood. It looks like that. It doesn't. It's dude, I live in Flint. Like there's a lot of places that look worse than that. For a block. The whole thing just was Clownville. Like, what the fuck you think you're doing? Unless what you're doing is signaling to all of your Q adjacent shit bros who are actually in your group that because that's what that looks like to me. It's just dog whistling bullshit. And the fact that they left it up tells me that they know it's dog whistling bullshit and that, they just don't give a fuck. Because, I think they've had many explicit explanations which lay out why it's crappy. And they just left it up. We're just like, fuck your feelings. We've heard that before from other people. And, I hated it.
Yeah. Jam?
One, I was a little bit surprised, but also really happy to see everybody ratio the shit out of it.
That was fun.
Including their own supporters, other supporters groups. Like, we don't get that very often here, that people actually say nice things about us.
Yeah.
And I don't need that as a Detroit City supporter, but like it was kind of fucking cool to actually see the backlash and see everybody be like, no, fuck you, this stadium is awesome. Either I've been there and I love it, or I can't wait to go there. And as me, I can't believe it stayed up or for that long, because I will tell you, if that sort of thing happened in the group I am involved with, like, I would be fucking kicking someone's door in and burning their fucking house down.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you, background, I used to run the Northern Guard Twitter account. Jam is one of the people that have access to it now. And like, I fucked up. I've made mistakes. I've gone too far. I've used the account in a way that, I maybe had a lapse in judgment, that I represented more than just myself, and I represented a group of thousands of people, right?
An excess of shit posting.
Yeah, and so shit posting is one thing, but you have to kind of be deliberate in the way you're shit posting and making sure that you're doing it in a way that, you know, the group is okay with you representing themselves in that way.
Right.
And I don't know what this is my take. I don't know what this admin's goal objective was. My initial reaction to it was, wow, that's some classist shit. Like, holy shit, they just fucking full sent it. Like, okay, especially within the greater context of their tweets, but I do tend to give people the benefit of the doubt and like, okay, well, maybe you're just a fucking idiot and you're not actually a shitty person and you just don't realize the way that you're coming off because, hey, I'm an idiot. Like, I've said stuff where, like, I've said classist shit and I'm like, oh man, I didn't even realize, like, that's how that would be because I don't have the perspective, right? And so it could be that they were an idiot. I don't know, but the regardless of any of that, the response was terrible. The response was awful. The I don't even want to. It wasn't really an apology, and honestly, I saw messages from inside their Discord of the admin who posted it, and he was definitely had no idea why everyone was like losing their minds about it. So yeah, it's not great. But at least, and I tweeted about this, and it aligns with you, Jam. Um, the really cool thing was the amount of positive things that people said, and been following the team a long time, and it is so rare for that to happen, to get everyone uniting about, well, actually, that's cool as shit about Detroit, and it doesn't happen. And so
Doesn't happen. And I don't feel like we need
no,
that.
not at all. But it was.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
nice
like
to see that people actually pay attention, and regardless of the shit that is talked on the internet, like, I don't give a shit if you like us, but like, fucking respect that.
Yeah, we're not here to be liked.
Yeah, I mean, I have to confess that I kind of missed the outpouring of positivity, mostly because I was, I saw that as I was about to write the game story, and then I went and wrote the game story, and then I, played Football Manager and went to sleep. So I kind of, missed the tail end of it. But, I saw the beginning, like right at the beginning was, what the, are you serious? I think it was right after NGS posted, are you serious with this? And I just was like, they're serious about getting ratioed. And then I went and wrote my story.
Out. So have you seen... just toss the grenade in and shut the door.
Yeah, it's like... I've done my thing.
So have you seen the outpouring since then? Like, have you seen it all since then?
Not really.
You should look. You should go back.
Yeah, I will after all this go back and
although the
Twitter
tweet's deleted,
but
there's like, if you go on the USL subreddit, there's like all sorts of shit. But
okay.
Yeah, and Alan in the chat even mentioned loved that Lansing and even Grand Rapids people were clowning them. So it's like,
yeah,
like, that's really impressive. Steel Army, that you could just unite all of these people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that they got dunked on by everyone because
it's fucked up.
Roundly
it was fucked up. It was fucked up. Like, you just don't need to do that.
Well, and like, yeah. Yep. Anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
I'm out.
I got nothing. I got nothing else. On to the next, right?
Yep. Yep. So we'll be back here Sunday to, bask very minutely in the glory that is the whatever thrashing we just gave Memphis, and then talk about Sharda. Right?
Yeah.
Let's not think of it that way. The beginning of our Open Cup experience. Yay! As a pro team, Jamie loves the Open Cup. Look how excited she is.
Oh man! Well, thanks, Jam, for joining us. per usual. Sean, thank you for getting everything working. Tune in
My
Sunday
panic
night.
text at 7:30. Nothing's working. Oh my god.
Fuck.
Fucking shit. God damn it. What the fuck?
And we'll see you Sunday. Buck, Ohio.
Are we still saying that?
Fuck Sharda.
Ooh.
Fuck all kinds of. We got another topic for Sunday.
Good night, guys. Good night, folks.
Fuck an unspecified I lost my words.